Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
2 people were shot and injured here in a Clayton neighborhood early this morning. We're bringing you the latest details from police.
And I'm also following some breaking news here in the WRAL traffic center. Major backup on 87 in the southbound lanes near Nightdale. I'll tell you how to get around this coming up.
And this afternoon, there's no getting around the heat unless you can find some storms. Coming up, we're going to work for you and try to time those out and show you the location of them as well. That's coming up in just a bit.
And we are going to get you a live look this morning at RDU, where travelers, yes, are still dealing with the fallout from that global tech outage last week. We have a live report coming up in just minutes, giving you a look at the delays and the cancellations. And you see that right there, Michelle? All those luggage right there, all that lost baggage claim, all because of this outage, something that we're still dealing with 5 days later. Thanks for joining us here on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. We're going to get to that story coming up. But first, we have to check in with Chris Michaels. Chris, I was so happy yesterday because I was staring out my window at the rain coming down, and I'm like, yes, my grass and my plants, they need this.
Yeah, things are starting to look a lot greener out there than they were maybe a week or so ago. In fact, we give you a live look over Raleigh, and you can see that hazy sun, a lot more greenery out there. Currently, it's 77 degrees, already a very warm start. Morning planner by 9 a.m., 78, 11 a.m., 83. 1 p.m., we're already at 87. Maybe a stray storm out there, but it looks like our best shot for rain is going to come as we head into the evening. So the yard may be getting more of a treat by then. This is not necessarily a treat. The heat index 100 to 105. No heat advisories in effect today, but when it starts to feel that hot, if you got to be working outside, make sure you're listening to your body, drinking plenty of water and electrolytes. Meanwhile, plenty of water coming down from the sky, especially Thursday. We're going to be tracking this front that, in tandem with tropical humidity, that's going to give us most of our rain on Thursday, and once again, a medium risk for flash flooding. We also have that for today. Coming up, Futurecast will map out the hour-by-hour rain chances. Ken?
All right, Chris, we continue to follow some breaking news here in the WRAL traffic center. Major backup on those southbound lanes of I-87 this morning as a result of this crash. You see it right there, and you see the backup that it's causing this morning. Here's what we've been telling folks in terms of getting around this major crash. You see the backup goes all the way back to Nightdale Boulevard. A lot of people have been taking Smithfield Road, but you can see Smithfield Road is becoming a little backed up this morning because the idea is to get over to Pool Road and avoid 87 altogether. Again, 64 might be an alternate route, but if you look at that, 64 is also backed up this morning. So not a really good routes to tell you about this morning, but just give yourself some extra time if you're about to head out and you're coming in from the Nightdale area. This crash we've also been following on I-40 in the westbound lane near Page Road. That's causing a little bit of a slowdown. At last check, it's probably adding about 5 to 6 minutes to your morning commute, so keep that in mind as well. Another crash we've been following on Capitol Boulevard. This one is near Marsh Creek Road. You can see the major delays it's causing on Capitol Boulevard this morning. Atlantic Avenue might be your best bet. Even Wake Forest Road might be an alternate route to avoid Capitol Boulevard this morning. And we're out in Orange County. We just got reports of a crash on Highway 70 near I-85 in the southbound lanes. You can see it's causing quite a bit of delays in that area. Highway 70 might be your alternate route in terms of avoiding that section of I-40 this morning. Elsewhere around the triangle on I-885 in both directions, you're adding about 3 to 5 minutes to your morning commute this morning. And the Beltline, the south side of the Beltline, you can see there around Lake Wheeler Road. Give yourself some extra time because you're adding probably 2 to 3 minutes to your morning commute.
Thanks, Ken. Breaking news, police in Clayton are investigating after 2 people were shot. WRAL's Laura Levine is there live this morning on Pond Street. And Laura, they have actually been to 2 scenes regarding this.
Michelle, it is a much quieter scene here on Pond Street than what we've seen earlier this morning. Behind me, you can see, nonetheless, still very active. We have an evidence truck parked here in the middle of the road, and we have some more officers a little further beyond this caution tape. But we know, as you mentioned, that this is just one of 2 scenes that police responded to this morning. The other happened on East Joyner Street, only just about a block away from where we are now. Investigators were really paying most of their attention to some of the homes in that area. We saw crime scene tape wrapped around some of the homes. They were taking photos as well as walking in between some of those areas here. I want you to take a listen to this Broadcastify radio traffic, giving you an idea of when police discovered there was a second situation.
Can you confirm there's another shooting in the area?
10-4 dispatching it now.
You can show us staging in the area, and we'll be responding.
So again, the Clayton police chief, he was on scene earlier this morning. He told me that 2 people were shot, 1 person with life-threatening injuries. We're still waiting to get an update from him at this time to learn more about what led up to the shooting. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Clayton.
We are entering day number 5 of frustration for people trying to travel through RDU. Flights are canceled and delayed again because of that global tech outage last Friday. Let's bring in WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. She joins us live at RDU behind us. And Kelsey, I mean, behind you, elephant in the room, all of those bags, all the luggage that's just still sitting there at the airport.
Chris, it's still sitting here. 25 cancellations, or rather 25 delays and 19 cancellations here at RDU. Those are the newest numbers from FlightAware. So we're seeing the impact of that here in baggage claim. Look at all of these bags, dozens of bags here at the Delta baggage claim. Between weather delays and the aftermath of the global IT outage, airlines just can't catch up, and Delta has been hit the hardest. Delta canceled more than 4,600 flights Friday through Sunday. This from NBC News. We spoke with one traveler whose family has been trying to get home to Florida from Italy. A stop in Detroit Saturday turned into a 2-day layover. Now they're stuck at RDU after another cancellation.
And we're so tired. It's been a long day for us, going hotel by another hotel, and we're trying to get home, but we can't.
And the staff is trying to keep bags as organized as possible, so they have numbers up there so people can know which sections their bags belong in. But it's still really difficult and frustrating for so many travelers. We have reached out to Delta to get some more information about whether people qualify for vouchers and whether they could be reimbursed for any meal or hotel expenses, but we're still waiting to hear back. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live at RDU.
Part of I-95 North, south of Fayetteville, is back open this morning after it was closed for hours because of this tractor-trailer crash. Video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows the truck on its side near NC-20 exit. The road did reopen just after 5:30. We are working to learn how this crash happened.
The Wall Street Journal is reporting the Kamala Harris presidential campaign is currently in the process of sending out a short list of people who could be vice presidential candidates to join her on that ticket. Let's tell you a little bit more about what we know about this. We know that Governor Roy Cooper is one of 6 people on that list. All on the list is Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, Governors Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, J.B. Pritzker, and Tim Walz. Governor Pritzker's office is denying that he's received any vetting materials, and we are working to learn what Governor Cooper's office has to say about this report.
And Harris's path to becoming the Democratic nominee for president is becoming clearer. On her first full day in the race Monday, she secured the backing of enough delegates to clinch that nomination. She also set a new record for campaign funding, bringing in $81 million in the first 24 hours after President Biden announced his withdrawal. Along with the money, the Harris team signed up 30,000 campaign volunteers. She has also received several high-profile endorsements, including Nancy Pelosi and Bill and Hillary Clinton. Harris's nomination is not yet a lock, but it is unclear whether anyone else will challenge her, let alone pose a real threat to her. And former President Trump will make a stop in North Carolina tomorrow. He'll be in Charlotte for a rally at Bojangles Coliseum. You can count on WRAL for coverage of that rally tomorrow.
Hillsborough police say that a child custody dispute turned violent, and now 2 people are facing serious charges because of this. Police say Jimmy Smith is accused of assault with a deadly weapon, shooting into an occupied vehicle, and resisting an officer. Investigators say officers were called to Cheshire Drive for a reported kidnapping. Instead, they found a child custody dispute. Now, no one was injured, and the child is safe. Smith is being held without bond at the Orange County Jail, and a second person was also charged with resisting an officer.
This morning, top North Carolina elections officials will testify under oath about recent decisions about third-party presidential candidates. Republican state lawmakers called them in for a hearing. They say the Democratic-controlled Elections Board blocked Cornel West from this year's ballot for politically motivated reasons. Elections officials, however, say there were numerous legal concerns surrounding West's attempt to get on the ballot. Testimony today could also focus on the board's actions surrounding RFK Jr.'s presidential campaign. And for more on what we're expecting from the hearing, visit the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com.
Investigators have some Jeep and Ram vehicles in their sights because of safety concerns. In just a couple minutes, hear more about the complaints of the vehicles shutting off unexpectedly while someone's driving.
And newly released body cam video shows the moments leading up to the death of an Illinois woman. Hear why a deputy says he shot her when she called them for help.
And new this morning, a medium risk for flash flooding once again coming up. I'm going to show you when we see that again in the forecast and when we actually see a little drop in humidity.
Welcome back as you look live over Franklinton. You're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. Definitely not as hot as we've seen in the past couple of weeks. Chris Michaels standing by with a look at what's changed. I feel like it's been such a roller coaster of weather.
It really has, and it feels like it's been constant for a couple weeks and then changed very quickly on us, right? Late June, early July, all we could talk about was that extreme heat that led to the rapid onset of drought. Here's what's happened within the past week. High pressure's moved offshore. You see the jet stream bringing in all that tropical moisture, leading to more storms and pretty much that daily risk for localized flooding. We're breaking this down in more detail right now on WRAL.com. But that stormy pattern continues today. Keep in mind, though, it's going to take quite some time before we actually see these storms materializing. They'll form closer to a front early this afternoon and then gradually this evening move in from west to east. Futurecast coming up in less than a minute. Live look now at the WRAL Gardens, Apex Chapel Hill, our newsroom in Fayetteville. Plenty of sunshine out there, a little more cloud cover as you head into parts of Wilson County. All of us pretty much on the same playing field temperature-wise. It's warm, it's muggy, 76 to 78. Roxborough at 72. Just make sure that you're drinking plenty of water if you plan on exercising today. High temperature is 90 to 91. Factor in the humidity. It's going to feel closer to triple digits. Eventually, those storms helping to cool things off a little bit. But again, it's going to take time. Futurecast this morning showing most of our showers toward the triad. Even by lunchtime, we're looking mostly dry. 3 or 4 p.m., a few storms may bubble up in the warmth and humidity of the day. We'll call that coverage about 30%. Then later into the evening by 8 p.m., that coverage goes up to about 50 to 60%. That's about where it's going to stay here as we head into the overnight hours. That's when we may see that flood risk developing. It's a medium risk in that yellow category. Goes down tomorrow, comes back up Thursday, and then it's completely gone by Saturday. Here's why. You've got that tropical moisture coming in from the south and west, but finally this pattern breaks a little bit and the wind starts to shift. Comes in out of the northwest, so the air turns drier. Now, it's not going to feel like fall out there, but at least we get some break in the humidity. That starts Saturday and heads into Sunday as well. Today, 91 the high, tomorrow 90. Then as we head toward Thursday and Friday afternoons, the increase in cloud cover, the increase in rain chances leads to high temperatures about 81 to 83. Overall, the weekend shaping up nicely. High temperatures 86 to 88 degrees. Ken Smith with traffic. It's been busy this morning.
Yeah, it has, especially on I-87 and those southbound lanes. We continue to follow that breaking news out there. It's finally beginning to clear up just now on I-87 and southbound near I-540. There was a huge backup this morning, just about an hour ago, 10 minutes ago, as a matter of fact. But you can still see the lingering delays right now there on I-87 in the southbound lanes. A lot of people have been taking Smithfield Road to get over the Pool Road and eventually getting back to all points east and west off of I-87. But clearly things are beginning to clear out. And as you're about to head out this morning, if I-87 southbound is part of your morning commute, it's probably at about 2 to 3 minutes to your morning commute this morning, not like it was just a little while ago. This crash just happened on I-40 in the westbound lanes near Gorman Street. It's not causing any problems right now, but you can see the delay beginning to build right there in the southbound lanes of I-40. I'll work on finding out a way to help you get around this, but a lot of times this is probably just going to add about 5 minutes to your morning commute, so keep that in mind. This other incident just happened on North Wally Boulevard in the southbound lanes near Crabtree Boulevard. Not causing any problems in that immediate area, but you probably might see some police activity. Also around the Triangle in Durham and I-85 in the north and southbound lanes, traffic is beginning to build up this morning, probably adding about 3 to 5 minutes to your morning commute there.
Ken, thank you. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office identified a couple found dead inside their burning home. Deputies say they were called to a home on Scout Road yesterday morning. They were checking on a man who lives there, and deputies say the house was on fire when they arrived. That's where they found 33-year-old Kyle Trable and 39-year-old Mariah Woody inside. Both were shot to death. Investigators say they are not looking for a suspect in this case. The two people killed were in a relationship and lived together.
The CEO of the tech company CrowdStrike that played a role in the global tech outage has been called to testify to Congress. House leaders want George Kurtz to explain the company's software update that was sent out last Friday. The outage seriously impacted airports, banks, hospitals, and other critical services. CrowdStrike said that a significant number of the computers that crashed on Friday have been fixed, and the company is actively working to prepare a more detailed explanation of what exactly happened.
The head of the Secret Service is taking responsibility for the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. In a House committee hearing yesterday, Kimberly Cheadle said the roof where the shooter fired shots from was identified as a vulnerability days before the rally. She also said the agency was informed of a suspicious person 2 to 5 times before the shots were even fired. She did not share, though, information on new reports that the gunman flew a drone over the grounds hours before the campaign event. Now, so far, Cheadle has refused calls for her resignation, both from Republicans and Democrats, too. She instead says that she is focused on the security needs of the DNC, the UN General Assembly, and the 2025 inauguration.
Newly released body cam video shows the moments leading up to an Illinois deputy shooting and killing a woman in her own home. The deputy says the woman was threatening him with a pot of boiling water. As Ben Mackey reports, the family of Sonia Massey and their attorney held a press conference calling for justice.
Monday afternoon, Sonia Massey's family and civil rights attorney Ben Crump held a news conference to discuss the body camera video that was released earlier in the day.
He killed her so senselessly. The only time I'm going to see my baby again is when I leave this world.
Crump says you can see in the body camera video, ex-deputy Sean Grayson went out of his way around the counter for a better shot at Massey.
Where is the humanity? Where is the training? I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Until we get justice for Sonia Massey, we rebuke this discriminatory criminal justice system in the name of Jesus.
Massey's father, James Wilburn, had strong words for Sangamon County Sheriff Jack Campbell.
The people of Sangamon County have been great. But I want to tell y'all, the sheriff here is an embarrassment. Because this man should have never had a badge. He should have never had a gun. He should have never been given the opportunity to kill my child.
Wilburn says he's now calling on Sheriff Campbell to resign.
Ben, I'll answer that one. Yes. Amen. 100 times yes. Amen. And he should do it in the next 12 hours.
The civil rights attorney now promising to hold the sheriff's office accountable for the family and the community.
We're asking for full transparency on every level, how he was hired, the 911 calls, the communications, all the video, everything. And we won't stop. We ain't satisfied with charges. We won't be satisfied until we get whole justice for Sonia Massey.
That was Ben Mackey reporting. Deputy Sean Grayson was fired from his job last week. A grand jury handed up an indictment on charges including first-degree murder. Jeep and Ram are facing an in-depth investigation from auto safety regulators. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration announced it will investigate safety complaints. The complaints allege that some Ram pickup trucks and Jeep Wagoneer SUVs can unexpectedly shut off, shift into park, and turn on the emergency brake. The review covers around 150,000 2022 vehicles. A hybrid system is responsible for the vehicle shutting off, and the administration says Stellantis recalled thousands of these vehicles back in April.
At the ACC kickoff, Commissioner Jim Phillips is defending the conference. The event got started in Charlotte yesterday. Representatives from all 17 teams, including newcomers Stanford, Cal, and SMU, are there. ACC Commissioner Phillips says that the conference is continuing its litigation with Florida State and Clemson, too.
What gives me, promise and conviction of it? because I understand, I think these schools, I understand where we're going. We've made some really good adjustments. And this conference is bigger than any one school.
WRAL will have a team in Charlotte throughout the week covering the conference meetings and interviews.
Coming up, we're tracking more delays and cancellations at RDU. The ripple effect Friday's global tech outages still having on summer travelers stuck in the Triangle.
Plus, 2 people were injured in a shooting in a Johnston County neighborhood this morning. We've got the details that we're piecing together from 2 separate crime scenes.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. Starting off pretty nice, but we could see those showers and storms later on today. Meteorologist Chris Michaels walks us through it. Chris.
Hey there, Michelle. Good morning. Yeah, starting out with a nice view of Fenton and Cary as you see the sunshine out there. Temperature of 77. It is sticky, though. That with a front to the north is going to lead to that chance for showers and storms. But here's the thing. It's going to take us some time to get there. Isolated coverage by 3 or 4 p.m. That turns a little more numerous as we head into the evening. This is also led to the chance for some localized flooding. We see that happening with a medium risk again on Thursday. Coming up on Fox 50, I show you how much rain we get prior to the weekend. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Things are really beginning to pick up all around the Beltline, the north side of the Beltline, the south side of the Beltline as well, probably adding about 1 or 2 minutes to your morning commute, so keep that in mind. Over in Durham, I-885, the north and southbound lanes, probably 1 or 2 minutes extra to your morning commute. I want to update that situation we've been following on I-87 this morning. This crash likely in the clearing phase, and you can see there's I-87 southbound lanes really beginning to clear on I-540. I'll have an update for you over on Fox 50 at the top of the hour.
Thanks, Ken. Breaking news in Johnston County. 2 people were shot in a Clayton neighborhood early this morning. Police are investigating 2 locations, East Joyner Street and nearby Pond Street. One person has life-threatening injuries. The other has non-life-threatening injuries. And the Wall Street Journal is reporting Kamala Harris's campaign requested vetting materials from potential vice presidential nominees. Governor Roy Cooper is one of 6 on that list. Also on the list, Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, Governors Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, J.B. Pritzker, and Tim Walz. Next on Fox 50, we'll take you through the mess flash flooding created for drivers across the Triangle yesterday.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Now at 8:30, 2 people were hurt in an early morning shooting in Clayton. What we're learning from the 2 separate crime scenes.
And this morning, Tuesday's top talkers will start you out with the heat index at 100 to 105 and a medium risk for flash flooding. Coming up, we'll walk you through the timing of any storms today.
And today marks 5 days straight of cancellations and delays at RDU after that recent global IT outage. Coming up, which airline has been impacted the most?
Yeah, a lot of people still dealing with the headaches with that whole situation, the banking industry, airlines, so much going on there. Thanks for joining us this morning here on WRAL News on Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingen.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. We're going to get to all of that for you, but first we have to talk about the weather outside. Feeling nice right now, at least, right?
It's a little deception, though, because things are going to pick up a bit in a little bit, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's typical summertime for you, right? You start out with the sunshine, then eventually those clouds billow up and give us the chance for storms. Today, we're under that medium risk for flash flooding. I would take that yellow and nudge it a little bit farther to the west, but overall, localized flooding a potential when you're dealing with that kind of tropical humidity out there. Not all day rain over the next few days, mostly late afternoon and evening. That chance for flooding lasts with us until about Thursday. And you can see why here. Today, we start out with minimal rain chances. Those will start to increase by the evening. Tomorrow, sort of a similar situation with rain carrying over into Thursday. Then it starts to trickle down. You see the pendulum swinging in the opposite direction. More isolated stuff by Saturday. Waking up this morning to a beautiful view over downtown Raleigh. You see the high-level clouds and sunshine out there. Temperatures currently mid to upper 70s. Heat index is something we're talking about again, but it's not hitting 110 like it did just last week. Still, it's going to feel like 100 to 102 late this afternoon. Make sure we're staying hydrated early and often if we have to be working outside, because again, it's going to take quite some time for those showers and storms to get going. Weather Watcher photo from from Lanisha Daniels. That was in Fayetteville. Send your pictures to us, WRAL.com. Just look up Weather Watchers. Ken's here with an update on traffic.
All right, Chris, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We want to update that situation we've been following on the 87 southbound lanes. These crashes likely in the clearing phase. And boy, that used to be fire red a little while ago, but those southbound lanes are definitely opening up this morning. You can see the lingering delay that crash has caused this morning. Smithfield Road has really reopened, so to speak, because that was fire red a little while ago because a lot of people was taking Smithfield Road as an alternate route to get over to Poole Road. But right now, this lingering delay will probably last for another 5-10 minutes. So probably wait a little bit before you have to head out, unless you have to get out there right at this second. Smithfield Road is a great option over to Poole Road, and that'll get you to all points east and west, and 440 and I-40 as well. This is a serious crash in northern Wake County on Falls of Neuse Road near I-540 this morning. You can see this crash is actually in Falls of Neuse proper. So what you're seeing on 540, that's the usual morning congestion that we see this time of the day. So that'll be a situation where it'll add about 3 to 5 minutes to your morning commute, so keep that in mind. This crash on Capitol Boulevard in the westbound lanes, I would recommend taking Buffalo Road as an exit, getting over to Marsh Creek Road, and that'll get you back onto Capitol Boulevard and get you on your way this morning. Elsewhere around the triangle this morning, we're seeing I-885. Things are beginning to clear up nicely there in both directions on I-885 in Durham.
That was good. Thank you, Ken. Breaking news. Police in Clayton say 2 people are hurt after an early morning shooting. And WRAL's Laura Levine is live on Pond Street this morning. Laura, I see behind you, clearly there's still police. There's still crime scene tape. Take us to the scene. What else do you know today?
Well, Chris, within the past 5 minutes, we actually just spoke with a man off camera who lives inside this duplex next to where police are investigating. Now, he was actually finally leaving his home after all of this took place earlier this morning. As he was driving by, he told us, mind you, he doesn't speak much English, but he said he was sleeping and he heard a loud bang. So right now, we are seeing investigators move in and out of this duplex on this second door here to the back. You can see the officer standing right there with a paper bag. We've seen many others walking in and out with paper bags, and they actually have been spending a lot of time inside this duplex. So we are working to gather more information. We know this is just one of 2 crime scenes being investigated this morning. The other happened on East Joyner Street, where we saw officers paying a lot of attention to a home. We didn't see a lot of evidence markers scattered about, but we did see officers moving in and out of several homes that were blocked off by crime scene tape. I want you to take a listen to this broadcastify radio traffic from when emergency responders learned there was a second shooting.
Can you confirm there's another shooting in the area?
10-4 dispatching it now.
You can show us staging in the area, and we'll be responding.
I spoke with Clayton's police chief, who was on the scene at 4:30 this morning. That's the last time we got an update. He said 2 people were shot, 1 person with life-threatening injuries, the other with non-life-threatening injuries. We're working to learn what led up to this shooting. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Clayton.
It's another day of headaches for air travelers across the country and right here in the Triangle. For the 5th day in a row after the global tech outage on Friday, hundreds of flights are canceled. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from RDU. And Kelsey, more than a dozen Delta flights are canceled there this morning. They're really affected.
Michelle, that's the airline that's been impacted the most, and you can tell here by all of these bags that are still here in baggage claim. And we just learned about 5 minutes ago, new information coming in from FlightAware. There are now 31 delays and 19 cancellations here at RDU between weather delays and the aftermath of the global IT shortage. Airlines just can't catch up, and Delta has been hit the hardest. Delta canceled more than 4,600 flights Friday through Sunday. This from NBC News. Now, we spoke with one traveler whose flight was canceled yesterday. The next flight is scheduled to take off later today. He's been stuck at RDU for nearly 24 hours.
What choice do I have? I already checked out my hotel. I have nowhere to go. This is my home for the day.
And this is where a lot of travelers are headed to first, just the desk there to try to see if they can find those bags. We have reached out to Delta for some clarification on who qualifies for vouchers and whether travelers can get reimbursed for any of their hotel or meal expenses. We're still waiting to hear back. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live at RDU.
And Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center wants to give you a different look at what is happening in and around RDU International, as well as the national picture of what's happening here. This is the flight tracker, which tells you exactly how many aircraft are in the air right now. What I've given you is RDU International is right in the center of this screen here. You see a helicopter just took off there. Plenty of aircraft in the air. But what we're looking at, this is about a 50-mile radius all around RDU right now. If I give you a little more closer look at what is actually happening as far as cancellations, if you look in the status column of these flights arriving to RDU, all the cancellations are Delta Airlines flights, not surprisingly from what Kelsey just reported there, including all the way down Salt Lake City, Las Vegas there coming in there. Let's look at departures real quick. You can see what is going out down at the bottom there. Two flights going out, Minneapolis and New York, respectively. Both Delta Airlines, both canceled. Now, a misery map shot. This is nationwide. What is happening nationally? 321 delays right now, 187 cancellations. And if you go to Atlanta right here, that Delta hub, the one that's at the top of the list, most effective, 37 flights delayed and 42 are canceled right now nationally.
Looks like a mess outside.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff. A driver is recovering because of his car rolling over in southern Wake County. This crash happened at around 12:30 this morning on Panther Lake Road. That's near Willow Spring, if you're familiar. What you're seeing right now is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Notice the car overturned in a driveway near Leando Drive. Troopers say the 21-year-old driver only has minor injuries in this, and WRAL is working to find out what led to this crash.
The Wall Street Journal is reporting Kamala Harris's campaign has requested vetting materials from potential vice presidential nominees, and Governor Roy Cooper is one of 6 on that list. Also on that list, Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, Governors Josh Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, J.B. Pritzker, and Tim Walz. Governor Pritzker's office is denying he has received any vetting materials. We are working to learn what Governor Cooper's office has to say about the report.
Vice President Kamala Harris's path to becoming the Democratic nominee for president, it's becoming clear. On her first full day in the race yesterday, Harris secured the backing of enough delegates to clinch that nomination, and she also set a new record for campaign funding. We're talking about raising $81 million in the first 24 hours after President Biden announced his withdrawal. Now, along with the money, the Harris team signed up 30,000 campaign volunteers. She has also received several high-profile endorsements, including from Nancy Pelosi and Bill and Hillary Clinton. She addressed campaign staff in Delaware last night.
So in the next 106 days, we have work to do. We have doors to knock on. We have people to talk to. We have phone calls to make. And we have an election to win.
Harris's nomination is not yet secured, though, but it is unclear whether anyone else will challenge her. Meanwhile, the Trump campaign is having to change strategies for a likely showdown with Vice President Harris. Former President Donald Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, mocked Harris. He did that during his first solo rally in his hometown of Middletown, Ohio.
There is simply no way that you can sit here and say the policies of Joe Biden have worked, which is to say that we got to kick Kamala Harris out of the Oval Office. Don't give her a chance.
Trump campaign aides have told NBC News they have worked for weeks preparing for a run against Harris. A poll taken Sunday shows Harris is actually doing better than Biden was against Trump, placing the race within the margin of error. Showers and storms across the region yesterday caused flooding and other problems for drivers. Look at this right here. This was what it looked like on East Millbrook Road in Raleigh, where a white van was stuck in that rising floodwaters you see here. And we're told the driver was able to escape safely. Near South Square Shopping Center in Durham, a sheriff's deputy risked his life trying to save a driver. We're told a Good Samaritan alerted the deputy to the driver trapped inside an SUV under the Tower Boulevard overpass. That's what you see right here. Together, they broke a window and opened the door to free the driver. On 15501 in Durham, a pickup truck driver crashed into a hole while trying to get through flooded roads. Crews from a local towing service had to pull this from the road.
Wow. Coming up, we're learning more about the effects of using marijuana while pregnant. We'll break down the potential dangers to the mother and child's life revealed in a new study.
Let's get you a live look outside this morning at Sanford. Beautiful, gorgeous start to our morning as we're experiencing typical summer storm chances today. So it looks a little deceptive. Things are going to change today. Meteorologist Chris Michaels tells us how long it'll take for the storms to start forming.
All right, time now 8:45 on a so far very warm Tuesday morning. All of us hitting the jackpot in Durham, Raleigh, Fayetteville, 77. We've got the sunshine mixed with some high-level clouds at times. It's muggy out there, though. When we look at the dew point, it's in the 70s. It's pretty much top of the charts. Very tropical air that eventually leads to the chance for some storms. We'll walk you through that timeline here in just a few seconds. But, yeah, this is a good place to be out at the pool if you have the day off with the kids, especially as the heat index gets to 100 to 102 out there. So something to keep in mind is that may be a good place to be. Futurecast, 8 o'clock this morning or 9 o'clock this morning, not showing much of anything out there. We're in good shape up until lunchtime. Even by 3 or 4, storm chances look to be pretty limited. We'll call it about a 30% chance by 4 p.m. Then as we get closer to about 8 p.m., you see how 50 to 60% of the area is going to be dealing with some downpours. These will move slowly into the nighttime hours, at which point we see the chance for maybe some flood advisories being issued once again. And I could see that happening Thursday. Low pressure generally is your rainmaker as you see more moisture coming in on the southern flank of it. Watch what happens as it starts to move farther to the east and closer to us. You see those yellow shadings, an indication of some heavy rain potential Thursday. That's why we bumped up our rain chances then, but they start to come down as we head into the weekend. All right, looking at rain totals, and so far most forecast data between now and the end of the day Friday showing still about 2 to 3 inches. Yesterday at RDU, we had about 2¼ inches of rain. So far, it's been a pretty wet July, a lot of that being this past week. But there is some relief on the horizon. Notice that tropical humidity is going to stay with us until Friday. By Saturday, the breeze comes in out of the northwest. Still going to be a little on the humid side, but it's not going to be quite as muggy as it's been over the past several weeks. Today, the high 91, it'll feel like 100 to 102 at times. Then by Wednesday, high of 90 degrees still. Most of our storms later in the day. Thursday and Friday, highs about 81 to 83. More cloud cover, more rain showers at times. And then as we head into the weekend, you notice temperatures coming up. Rain chances coming down a little bit. We're back to near 90 degrees with lower humidity for the most part as we head into Sunday and Monday.
All right, thank you, Chris. Members of Congress toured the Pennsylvania site where the attempted assassination of former President Trump happened. The group of bipartisan lawmakers was led by Congressman Mark Green, who serves as chairman of the House Committee on Homeland Security. Green said that some members of Congress were able to climb onto the roof the gunman was on without any kind of equipment. Green also says that local police officers told them they were not allowed into a Secret Service command center at that rally.
A new trial date has been set in the case of Karen Reed. She's that Massachusetts woman accused in the death of John O'Keefe. He was a police officer and her boyfriend. A mistrial was declared not long ago in this case, and a new trial has been scheduled for January. Reed is charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle under the influence, and leaving the scene of a fatal accident. Prosecutors claim Reed killed her boyfriend when she hit him with a car during a snowstorm. That was back in January 2022. Jurors could not reach a verdict in the murder trial earlier this month.
The truck driver is dead after the tractor trailer he was driving crashed in New Jersey. This happened yesterday in the city of Clifton, about 20 minutes from Newark. The crash led to a fire and massive explosion. The driver, a 55-year-old man, was killed. No word on what caused that crash.
All right, look at your screen. This is what drivers in Arizona had to deal with Sunday, a dust storm causing major visibility issues. This is in suburban Phoenix. We're talking thousands of homes and businesses losing power because of the windy conditions during this, Michelle.
Wow, that is a sight to see. Well, 2 cyclists are recovering this morning in Durham after being hurt by a hit-and-run driver. It's the latest in a series of crashes in that city. The crash happened Saturday morning near Oakwood Avenue and Primitive Street. 3 women were riding together near that intersection when Durham police say a pickup truck hit 2 of them. The driver left the scene. One of the women describes her thoughts in that moment.
This terrifying reaction of, what's going to come from this? Like, I feel like we're going to be really hurt from this.
The city of Durham says it's working to improve bike safety. That includes adding 8 miles of bike lanes. Work on that project is expected to wrap up later this year. Well, we've seen more rain recently, but droughts leading up to that could mean trouble the next time you mow your grass. Meteorologist Chris Michaels joins us now with a rising number of yellow jackets nesting underground. And Chris, this is something people will want to know about the next time they go outside.
Exactly, and I kind of found this out firsthand when I was mowing my yard just a couple weeks ago as I accidentally ran over a yellow jacket's nest and they came right up. Now, according to the NC State Extension, nests are built underground and they swarm when they're disturbed, and if you do get stung, it leads to soreness and swelling for days at a time. The drought monitor that was put out this past Thursday still shows us under a drought, though we expect some better conditions here with more rain. But here's why that matters. The yellow jackets, they seek out water and insects in the ground when we have a lack of rain out there. So that's something that we have to keep an eye on, but hoping that we can skip past that a little bit because their numbers tend to increase in August and in September. Hey, in July so far, we've gotten anywhere from 6 to 7 inches at RDU and Fayetteville. So that kind of yellow jacket situation should start to improve a little bit as they seek food elsewhere instead of just in the ground, and especially with our rain chances coming up. Coming up in the next half hour of Fox 50, we'll show you where we see that medium flood risk with rounds of rain, and our coverage on that yellow jacket story, it continues on WRAL.com as we seek the advice from experts as to how to remove them.
Yeah, I want to see that. Pretty fascinating. Thanks, Chris. A new study indicates there is an increased risk of serious, potentially life-threatening complications among mothers using cannabis, specifically using it before or during early pregnancy. The conditions include gestational hypertension and preeclampsia. Both are high blood pressure disorders. The research comes as more women report using marijuana to ease nausea, pain, stress, and to help with sleep during pregnancy. Researchers say the number of women who use marijuana during pregnancy has more than doubled over the past 20 years.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center, information just in. House Speaker Mike Johnson said it last week that they would move quickly and try to put together a bipartisan task force that would investigate the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And he got together with Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and it was just announced that that task force has come together, and they will have subpoena power. They will be able to make decisions based on the investigation. It's made up of 7 Republicans, 6 Democrats, thoroughly investigating the matter. They will have subpoena authority, as I mentioned, and try to find facts quickly in that. This is all coming as U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheetah was grilled at length by the House Oversight Committee and many lawmakers on Capitol Hill calling for her resignation.
And Republicans, but she says she is not leaving. She's focusing on the DNC. Thank you, Jeff. Vice President Kamala Harris is gaining support from singer Charlie XCX. Charlie appeared to endorse Harris on social media, writing, "Kamala is Brat." It's a reference to her new album, Brat. Harris's campaign embraced the moment, reposting to show support. Now, the team used the album's signature green color and typeface in one of its social media profiles and shared Brat-themed memes.
Students studying to become game developers at Wake Tech are showcasing their skills. Students in the Simulation and Game Development program will present their original video games today. The annual showcase is a capstone project in which students work together to design a game for a company from scratch. It begins at 5:30 tonight. Presentations begin at 7 at the Student Services Building at the Southern Wake campus. Chris, this is awesome.
It is, and I see some of them are using the Unreal Engine, which is made by Epic Games over in Cary. So it's pretty cool to see them make their dreams come true.
Yes,
I want to see that.
Gaming expert over here.
All right, before we go to break, here are the winning lottery numbers on your screen just in case you missed them.